Hey, what is up guys? Today we're checking out the GameToys 1/6 scale Sephiroth. So let's take a quick look at the packaging, then we will take a look at the figure. Stay tuned guys. Okay, and so here's the front of the packaging, and it's a pretty simple design. We just have the 7 emblem on the front, and down here Sephiroth, One-Winged Angel, GameToys 1/6 scale figure, and we have a whole bunch of these feathers on the front, which is pretty nice. And here's the side of the packaging, and down here, once again, we have the GameToys logo. And this is everything that comes with the figure. So we have the brown shipper and the outer packaging, and right over here we have a couple of spare hands and the spaces for the blade and the display stands. And right over here we have the spare head sculpts, and this is the figure itself displayed with the wing, Metsumune, and the display stands. So yeah, that's a quick look at everything that comes with the figure. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so let's take a look at the figure. And guys, I've got to say, this is such a great piece. Not only because it's so detailed, but because it's a really large figure. I mean, this is a lot bigger than your standard 1/6 scale figure. And I mean, the head sculpt is just amazing. It's got such a good likeness to the character from the game. This has got to be the best figure ever made of Sephiroth, without a doubt. I mean, nothing else comes close. And I'll give you guys a little comparison on the Playarts Kai figure beside this GameToys a little bit later on in the review. But anyhow guys, let's take a close-up on the figure. Okay, and so let's begin with the head sculpts. And wow, what a great head sculpt. I love the paint job in the face, especially the eyes. You can see he's got the cat eyes, just like in the game, which is painted a very light green. And they're very glossy, very shiny. It looks, you know, pretty realistic. He's even got like eyebrows, eyelashes painted in there. It's a very good head sculpt. I'm really happy with this one. And the lips painted kind of like a dark red with a bit of a black wash in between the lips, just to make them stand out a bit. It looks really good. And the hairpiece is also very nice. Really nicely sculpted. You can see it goes all the way down here, kind of fades to like a translucent type of material, which I think is a really cool feature. It's a bit like the Playarts Kai figures. I think they had the same feature. But anyhow, yeah, that's a look at the head sculpt. It's really good. I know some people had some quality control issues with this figure. I think there may be some issues with the molding of the hairpiece, but I think this one looks pretty good. I don't see any major quality control issues. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty happy enough with how it turned out. And moving down here to the body piece of the figure. So as you can see, he's wearing this amazing leather jacket, which goes all the way down here. So I don't think it's made out of real leather. I think it may be pleather. But yeah, it is made of real materials, like real, you know, fabrics and whatnot. It's actually really nicely done. It's got all the stitching work in there. You can see all the seam lines. It's actually pretty intricate, and it feels very high quality. And right over here we have the shoulder pads, which are removable. You can take them off, and they're held in place by a strap, which is really nice. And so as for the body piece, I thought it was going to be made out of rubber, but it is in fact made of plastic. It's just like a standard 1/6 scale plastic body. But anyhow, moving down here to the waist, we have all these straps, all these belts and buckles. We have this really unique looking, you know, like an emblem here, which is really cool. It's got some materia embedded in there. It's got some, you know, real chains here with these feathers, which I think looks really cool. It's a very nice touch that they added real chain. I can't remember if the Playarts Kai version has real chain. But anyhow, here's a look at the hand holding this amazing massive blades, which goes all the way down here. Metsumune, which is made of real metal. It's a very, very nice blade. It's, you know, pretty heavy as well for a 1/6 scale figure. There's a better look at the handle of the katana, if you would even call it that. But anyhow, moving down here to the waist, to the cloak piece, with all these nice belts and buckles, all the zips, you know, very, very nice. And here's a look at the boots, which I think are made of plastic. And down here we have the display base with the name Sephiroth, which is on a metal plaque, which gives it a nice touch. And here's a look at the wing, which is such a nice accessory. I think it turned out really well. And it just makes the figure look 10 times better. It's even got like real feathers on the actual wing itself. which makes it look pretty realistic. And it's also got like a metal frame inside the wing, so you can pose it any which way you want and it will hold that position. And here's a look at the hairpiece, and we have all this nice sculpting work, all the strands of hair sculpted in there. And down here at the bottom we have this cool translucent effect at the tips of the hairpiece. It's pretty nice. And this is the back of the wing with all these, like fur pieces on the top, which give the pretty cool effects, and all these real feathers at the bottom. And here's a look at the back of the hand holding Masamune. And the cloak piece, I mean, look at the cloak, it looks super nice. It's even got a real texture on the cloak piece, which makes it feel, pretty authentic. And there's the back of the boots and the stand. And here's a nice profile of the face, and you can see the ear sculpted in there. And of course we have the side of the wing. And I really can't wait to see Sephiroth in the new Rebirth, which is coming out in a couple weeks, as of the date of this video, which I really can't wait for. But anyhow, let's look at the figure from the side. Okay, so this is the other head sculpt that comes with the figure, and I've got to say, I love this head sculpt a lot. I would almost say that this head sculpt is better than the standard head sculpt with the eyes open. I just think this one looks a lot more natural with the eyes closed, and it's such a great expression on this face. Very peaceful, very somber. And here's a look at the standard head sculpts with the eyes open. So yeah, which one do you guys like better? This head sculpt with the eyes open, or this head sculpt with the eyes closed? I mean, I think they both look great. They both look amazing. But I don't know what it is. I just really like this head sculpt a lot. It's a very clean paint job, very clean sculpt, and I think GameToys have done an absolutely amazing job on both of these head sculpts. Alright, and so here we have a nice comparison with all of these Sephiroth figures. So first up, we have the PlayArts Kai Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Sephiroth, which is a pretty old figure. I want to say it came out around maybe 2016, 2017. And here we have the new GameToys 1/6 scale Sephiroth, which I believe came out around 2023. And this is the PlayArts Kai Remake Sephiroth, which came out around 2021. So yeah, all very nice figures. I love them all. And yeah, there's a pretty big size difference between the PlayArts Kai figures. They're much smaller figures. But as I mentioned before, this is a pretty abnormally tall 1/6 scale figure. It's definitely a lot bigger than your standard Hot Toys figure. Probably stands close to 13 inches tall, which is pretty insane, because usually they're around 12 inches. But anyhow, you can see a pretty big difference between the PlayArts Kai and the GameToys in terms of quality and sculpting. I mean, the PlayArts Kai are completely made out of plastic. We don't have any mixed media on this figure at all. Even the blade is made out of plastic. Whereas the GameToys, I mean, we have real feather, we have real clothing, like die-cast sword. It's just, a much different figure in terms of quality, but it is a much more expensive figure, of course. But yeah, there's a quick look at the differences on these figures. I will make a full comparison review on all these figures, so if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. So I hope this quick comparison helped. Okay, so let's take a look at the articulation for the figure. Now, I don't want to move the figure around too much because this is a very expensive figure. I mean, this figure is in the hundreds, so I really don't want to damage the figure. But I just thought we would take a quick look at, but first up, I want to give you guys a look at the wing because it's a very specific accessory which is pretty unique to this figure. So first up, I want to take off the headpiece just so I can give you guys a better look at how you insert the wing. So the wing is, it feels pretty fragile. I wouldn't want to, mess about with the wing too much. But basically it's held in place by this here little peg joint right here, which is attached to a metal wire, which as I mentioned, you can move the metal wire and you can pose it whatever way you want. So yeah, basically you just, detach the peg like so, and it's a pretty sturdy peg. It doesn't look like it, but that's basically it right there. It's just a tiny little peg joint which fits into the little hole on the back of the figure, as you guys can see just right there. So yeah, there's a hole in the jacket, which goes through into the body, which it doesn't look that great, but I think it's worth it for the wing because there's no other way to do this. So I think it's a pretty small price to pay for such a great accessory. But anyhow, here's a look at the wing itself, which is really cool. You see all the detail, like all the feathering work here, all the feathers at the top. But anyhow, you can extend the wing like so. I don't want to move it too much, but yeah, the metal frame can hold position, so you can have it folded out like so, or you can have it folded in, which is how I usually like to pose the figure. So yeah, let's put that to the side for the moment and let's get the head popped back on the figure. And I just want to give you guys a look at the blades, Masamune. So here's the blades right here. Really large blade, that's kind of ridiculous. It's actually taller than the figure, which is really insane by like a good, a good inch or two. Yeah, that's a look at the blade. Real metal, it's die cast. It feels like a real, sturdy piece. You could almost, use this as a weapon. Be a good skewer. But yeah, that's a look at the blade. So let's put that to the side for the moment. And let's take a look at the articulation for the figure. So as for the head sculpt, we have a ball joint in there. And the shoulder pads are held in place by a strap. So, you can take them off if you want, which there would be really no need to. But yeah, it is there in case you guys want to for whatever reason. And the shoulder pads even have a bit of mobility. You can see they're not, just stuck in one piece. They can actually move, which is really, really cool. So we have a ball hinge joints at the shoulders. We have ball hinge joints at the elbows. And same goes for the wrists, ball hinge joints. I just want to be super careful with this figure so that I don't, break it. Anyhow, inside the torso piece, it doesn't seem like we have anything in there. It seems to be a pretty, pretty solid piece. Doesn't seem to be any joints in there whatsoever, which is a bit of a shame. So inside the weights, we have a nice ball joint in there, so you can get some nice rotation. And let me just take the figure off the display stand, and we'll put the stand to the side for the moment. And let me just give you guys a close-up on this here belt piece. It's got some, like real chains and feathers, which is really cool. So as for the hips, we have, it seems like ball joints in there. And it doesn't seem like we have anything at the thigh. But I can see we have, seems to be a single hinge joints at the knee. You get like a 90-degree pose in there. And this here boots is also made out of a softer piece of plastic. It gives some, nice movements, as you guys can see. And as for the foot, it seems like we probably have a ball hinge joint in there, but it's kind of hard to tell since, the whole foot is covered by the boots. And of course, the cloak piece made of real cloak. We have this type of like material on the inside, which is really, really nice. Almost like this type of waterproof material. And I guess I'll just give you guys a quick look at how the figure stands without the display stands, the sword, and the wing. So this is how he looks without any, fancy accessories attached onto the figure. So I don't usually display the figure without the display stand because this really helps to support the figure, and I don't want the figure to fall. So this is a pretty rare, rare occasion without the display stands and any of the accessories right here. So this is how he looks, and let me just give you guys a quick look at the back of the figure without the wing, in case you guys want to check it out. So here's a look at the hairpiece. It's such a majestic looking character. I'm very, very excited for Rebirth. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are excited for Rebirth on I think 28th or 29th of February 2024. Really cannot wait. Alright guys, so that was a look at the GameToys Final Fantasy VII Remake 1/6 scale Sephiroth. So guys, this is such a great figure, and if you're a big fan of Final Fantasy VII or of Sephiroth, then you would absolutely love this figure. I cannot express enough how good this figure is, and this is hands down the best 1/6 scale figure ever made of Sephiroth. So yes, I highly recommend picking up this figure if you guys are a big fan. Anyhow guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it was helpful. If you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these Final Fantasy figure reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a great day, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Alright, take it easy guys.